It's now a week past the summer solstice, but sunrise and sunset times are changing so slowly that, for all practical purposes, we're still experiencing some of the shortest nights of the year. And when you take into account twilight, which is more complicated than you might think, those nights are much shorter. Now, I will use Central Pennsylvania, specifically State College, to illustrate. On the first day of summer, the official sunrise and set times were 5:40 a.m. and 8:46 p.m., giving us 15 hours and 6 minutes of daylight. But now, let's take into account twilight. There are three widely accepted types: civil, nautical, and astronomical, each defined based on how far the center of the sun is below the horizon. Now, during civil twilight, the sun is between the horizon and 6 degrees below. If weather conditions are good, there's enough natural light for outdoor activities and for objects to be clearly distinguished, including the brightest stars and planets. A good example is Venus, known as the morning star or evening star, because it's easy to see during civil twilight. On the summer solstice in State College, civil twilight times were 5:07 a.m. and 9:20 p.m., adding more than a half hour to both the start and end of the day when you could see what you were doing outside. Then there's nautical twilight, when the center of the sun is between 6 and 12 degrees below the horizon. During nautical twilight, the horizon is still clearly visible, so sailors can use it for reference to navigate using the stars, thus the name. Though the general outlines of objects can still be distinguished during nautical twilight, artificial lighting is needed to see things clearly, even when the weather is good. On the summer solstice in central Pennsylvania, nautical dawn was 4:24 a.m. and nautical dusk was 10:03 p.m., adding 40 more minutes on either side of sunrise and sunset and increasing the length of daylight to almost 17 2/3 hours. Finally, there's astronomical twilight, when the sun is between 12 and 18 degrees below the horizon. Most casual observers would say the whole sky is dark during astronomical twilight, but astronomers still can't properly observe faint and diffuse objects such as nebula and galaxies. Once the sun is more than 18 degrees below the horizon, only then is the sky dark enough for astronomers to do all their nighttime work, barring any light pollution or clouds, of course. In central Pennsylvania on the summer solstice, astronomical dawn and dusk were 3:33 a.m. and 10:53 p.m., respectively, leaving less than 5 hours of astronomical darkness. As I mentioned at the start, sunrise and sunset times change very slowly near the summer solstice and near the winter solstice as well. Right now, we're only losing about 5 minutes of daylight per week. But just a month from now, that will have increased to almost 15 minutes per week. Stay tuned. The extended forecast is next.